Hi everybody, I just got the scary bad connection notice from Facebook, so hopefully that will not happen again. Let me know if you can see and if you can hear and how we're doing. If you can hear me well. I definitely have some lights. I think I'll turn on one more. So I have one more light that I can use. And I think this one sometimes helps us get a little bit of this side lighting over here. So today I want to play with the Curly Qs, but more than that, I have a theme. So this year I have put in a ton of flowers in my garden for the first time because we're in the new house, and there really just has never been room because we never controlled the garden. We just got what we got. And one of the things I am hoping to attract is butterflies because my home area is a stopover for monarch butterflies. So I'm super excited. Maybe we'll get to see some. So today I thought that we would start by doing some butterflies. And I wanted to share a couple of simple ones that you could easily do with just a few templates. And then I have, of course, a complicated one because that wouldn't be me if I didn't have something complicated. So let's put some fabric up here. All right, so no comments? Everybody's so quiet out there. What's going on?
Yeah, I think most everybody can hear you.
Okay, good.
Saying it sounds good and they love butterflies.
Well, how come Honey can see the comments, but I can't? That's why he's here.
Special.
He says he's special. He is special. Okay, here we go. Let's put one of the first set of templates up and start playing with those. So I'll just put them up. And let's see, it looks like we may need to move out just a little to give you a little bit more room. There we go. Okay. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Darla. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I really appreciate that we get to connect every week. And I'm just going to tell you right now so you don't forget. On the first week of May, I don't know what day Sunday is, but from the 4th through the 10th or so, I will be traveling. So if I do broadcast, it will be from the show. So that might be possible. We'll have to see what their connectivity is. But if not, then I will be absent next time. So 2 weeks I'll be gone. Let me share real quick. I've just made a line right here. And we're just going to use the reference line, and I can put the butterfly anywhere I want, but what I'm going to do to start out with is I'm going to put two different butterflies. So this is just a 45-degree angle right here. You don't need the markings at all, but what I've done, these two dots right here are 1 1/4 inch down from this point. So both of the first two butterflies are going to use this as the body of the butterfly. And what I've done with these dots is I'm just going to lay the edge of the template here on that dot. And the function of that is going to mean that these two butterflies are the same distance down from the corner. So they're going to have a little bit of parity, which is going to just balance my design a little bit. So all of these designs, everything today, if I took you over to the floor of my sewing room, I drew them many times. In fact, I might have Honey go grab a couple of them later just so we can show you. But you need these. These are so valuable. They let you draw and make all the mistakes on paper before you put them on your quilt. I do pray that they happen on the paper and not on the fabric today, but you know how it is, right? It happens. Okay, so let's play. As I said, I'm going to put the edge of this template, and the first thing that I'm doing is I'm making the body of the butterfly. So let me get it lined up for you. All I've done is I've lined this center line here, and I've lined it right up with that dot. So let me turn it so you can see the dot. Right there. So just the edge of the plastic is lined up on the dot. What's the question? Okay. So Honey is answering questions because he's so savvy. He's doing the work. Now, where do we start? Let's get lined up since we have our template in place. I do have these grips on both sides. And the reason for that is This one will have the ability to be used either direction. It depends on which way that I want my little curly Q to go. So right now we're going to make the two butterflies facing in together. Where I want to start is this foot is going to go in this channel. So let's do that part first. And let's make sure everybody's set and I've locked my machine. I'm just going to go down the channel until the needle can be in the center, in the line. Okay, so right there I'm just looking inside and letting my needle hit that reference line, the line that it's on. And then let's just get that thread out of there so we can pull up that bobbin. And this is going to be the exact same on either side. Now, to answer some quick questions, this particular curly Q is the 8.5. And one of the things that I have found that's very interesting is that the bigger your curly Q is, the bigger the curl. So let me see if I can grab some of these and show you what I mean. The one that I'm doing is the 8.5. So this one is the 10. And this part of the curl is a lot bigger. So even if I want this longer line right here, I'm going to have a bigger curl, right? And I can switch, I can mix and match. I don't have to use this curl, but the curl, the bigger the number, the bigger this opening. So just keep that in your mind. This is right here, the 6.5, and you can see it's quite a bit smaller right there. Okay, so let's get started with the first part of it. What I'm doing right now is I'm making the body. This is a really nice, gentle curve, and all I'm going to do is sew from the line to the line. So right there, I'm on that straight line, and I can just flip this over, and I'll have to turn it so you guys can see. So give me a second. We'll get it lined up. Oh, let's get these little threads out of here. We'll end up tying this off, but he's kind of loose right there, so I'm just going to give these a little tug to get them out of my way. So right now, I want to come back right to that exact spot. So this part right here, I'm going to follow this curve, and I can use my spacing gauge if I need to, make sure that I get right back to where I started, because that's where I want to be. All right, let's go. Where's my foot pedal? He's wandering off today. He wants to be on vacation. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you hit it exactly 100%. We've rarely used these with this channel. So obviously my foot will not fit right there through the channel, but I can just lift it up slightly like that. And then I could just slide that out of there. And he's off. I really like that. That's so convenient. No tape, no nothing. I mean, I love the tape, don't get me wrong, but that was pretty convenient, right? So right now, I'm going to turn it this way. And, oh, darn it. You guys, I forgot to make the curly Q. I don't know what's going on. Let's put him back on. I got so excited I was showing you how cool that channel was, and I lost track of him. Oh, funny. Okay, I'm going to line it back up right down here. So we have this center line is right at the bottom, right where we stopped our design. We're touching with the ruler. And here, let's put in the curly Q. This is the top of our butterfly. And then we'll just follow it back around. And we'll just get right to the top of the body. And then I'll take it off again, sorry. Oh, I'm a little nutty. That's all I can tell you. Okay, now we have a cute little body, right? And we have a cute little curl. But the one thing that I felt like the butterfly needed, and I want to make sure we put in, is let's put in a little head. And I'm going to use this baby size. This is the 1/4 inch between the lines. You can also use the 1/2 inch. I've used both of them. Or you can just fudge it. If you just want to make like a little scribble circle, you can do that too. So, oh, my tape has had it. So the tape does get weak over time. It just stops working. And I do have my just regular Scotch tape roll. It's right by my sewing machine. I always have it handy. And I just keep it because it seems like I need it a lot. I like to switch my tape around, and the tape that I use is the opaque tape. So let me show you real quick. It's not clear. I would like to use the clear, but the reason I don't is I think this opaque one is stronger, and it lets me pull it on and off multiple times. So it just gives me a little bit more freedom. So let's get it on. Ooh, again, with that narrow channel right there. It's so tight. All right, and then we'll just put the tape on. All right, and we're just going to put a little head on there. He's very small too, very small head. And if you felt like that was too small, you can just come back in with a bigger one. Just put another one on there. So, okay, I'm right there in the center, and now we can do some wings. So we have lots of choices of wings, and I think that's probably the hardest part about what I did today, is I probably had 20 different templates, and how could I find the one that was just the perfect match for what you wanted? I need a little room to get this off of there. He does not want to come off. There we go. All right, open that just slightly. Always put your tape back on. I have like one little broken key that has never found its partner. And I know I've ordered at least one key before. They will make another key if you leave it somewhere and you can't find it, but I think it's best if you can keep the one that's actually cut with your unit. Okay, so let's see. We have two of them, two choices. The first one I'm going to do is the Spinifex number 13, and it's at the 11.5-inch size, which, where is it? I can't find it. Here it is. It's hiding. I have it ready, but it's it's clear. Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit ditzy today. Right, Nan? I need more coffee. Okay, let's get this on there. And we want our butterfly wing to go away from the head. That's just my personal preference. So we'll put this on there this way. I do have grips on both sides for these, and that's going to let me flip it over and use it either way that I want to. Notice how right down here at the bottom, I've got the tape really close to the edge. It doesn't matter what's happening on this side. It only matters that this part here is stable. So just make sure it's really secure. And there's no rule about how I position my butterfly. What I want to do though is I don't want to cut through the body. So if I think that I would, like I can turn this like this. See how this is going to give me a little less? If I don't want that angle, that upright of an angle, then what you can do is maybe just come out a few stitches along the line, and then that's going to let you have more room as you're out far on this end. So here, just stick your spacing gauge in there, make sure that you're not going to cut into the body, and then you can just start sewing. So I should be good right there. I was double checking, can you tell? I'm going to go right through that thread, which I don't want to. Let's cut it. Yay, there we go. We'll trim it cleaner later, but we just want him out of our way right now. All right, here we go. So try not to ever make adjustments on the fly like that. You know, when you're doing that, you don't want to be adjusting position on the fly. So there's my first one. And I'm going to come down here to the bottom. Okay. And I'm just going to tip this just a little bit. I'm actually going to shift the whole sandwich so you can see the back, so you can see what it looks like as I'm lining it up. So let's turn it around. And let's come down just a little bit, give you a little angle. Marlene is asking about my thread. The thread that I'm using is Superior Fantastico. It's a 40 weight variegated thread. It's polyester, and the color number is 5148, and to me it looks like Easter eggs. It's like pinks and yellows and some teal. So right here, I'm going to just put a little echo right in here just because I can. This point down here is the perfect spot for me to pivot from, and as long as I come back into this part, then all of that will look like one wing behind the other. So here we go. So we'll just go here, close it in. And here we're just going to come out just a tiny bit, and I'm just going to do one little embellishment here. Stars is a Facebook program that if you like whoever your presenter is or you like the material, I think it's like a penny a star or something like that, then you can send that to your presenter. There's no requirement that you do that. It's totally voluntary. And I don't think that even is exactly for me. I think it's, this is So Steady's page. But that is something that Facebook has started, and it's designed, I think, for customer engagement, or people, audience engagement. But don't worry, there's no requirement that you do anything if you don't want to. Right here, I've got the edge of the foot right on this stitch line. I think maybe even one more stitch might be better. And what I want to do now is I'm going to create a little echo right here, just to put a little bit of extra dimension in there. So you can see I'm using 1/2 inch right here. You could measure that with your spacing gauge. I don't need this to be really accurate, but if you want it to be, you can. You could measure it. That space, the 1/2 inch, is the width of the foot. With the needle right in the center, we can create a 1/4 inch echo right here, and it'll just end up touching wherever it touches down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'll just scoot this over, we'll tack it, and then we'll take this out so you can see my butterfly. Now this one was pretty simple. You don't even have to put, I think, the little head in there with the between the lines circle if you don't want to, if you just want to keep it really, really simple. But let me show you how cute this is. Okay, so we'll lift that presser foot up and we'll cut all these threads. So, and all we did really is we had just a single line as the reference. We can start it anywhere. Oh, it looks like we have a little thread there that we need to chop. That was from our starting thread. We didn't get a nice good cut, clean cut in there. I'll figure that out later, but there's your butterfly. Isn't that cute? And of course, I could make, this line come down further. I can, make this come further or whatever. And in here, all of this space, or any of these spaces right here, you can fill those in if you have free motion or even just straight lines. So simple, and now you have a cute little butterfly. One of the other things I like to do with the butterfly is let's put a cute little embellishment in the body that will kind of show you some three-dimensionality. So what we're going to do is we'll start here, and let's say I'll draw it a little bit in pencil so you'll kind of get the idea. Do you have that Bonds and Porter chalk pen, babe?
Right in the little box.
Oh, thanks. Okay, thanks. So we're just going to start, and we're just going to put some little lines like this. Right? And we can do different embellishments, like we could just put like a little thorax like this, and then this part gets scribbled in, and then we could just have the lines there. So this erases really easily. I think that's too busy for us to show you anything, but that's kind of where we're going with that. So we'll just get those off and kind of make it clean so you can see what we're doing. Oh, sorry. I think it's weird I'm using a different machine. This machine has a ready to sew position and a get ready to sew. So right now it's in the get ready. And if I tap my foot control, that's the go, get ready to sew. So we'll put the needle down right there. And I'm just going to use my 12-inch arc and make a little body, a little like his abdomen. And that'll give a little bit more three-dimensionality right there. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. We don't want to come all the way down. So this can't be super deep because we don't want to take up the entire space, right? We just want a little bit of that space. And then we can just fill this in. We can do a little scribble. It doesn't have to be fancy. Any little texture you can do straight lines, whatever you want to do. this will get us down to the bottom, and then I'm going to come out a few stitches, about 2 stitches, right in the middle of this space, and let's see if I can get us back up there at a 1/4 inch. There we go. So now we have a little bit of texture for his belly, and we have a little bit of 3-dimensionality. We'll try some other embellishments for the body when we do some of the other ones. So let's go ahead, we'll cut this thread, and we'll do the other one. And I was telling you, I think earlier, that, you know, I really had a hard time deciding, because honestly, there are just so many different ones that could work for any kind of a butterfly wing, because they're so varied in shape and size, that I think that would be really, really an easy way to do lots of different things. So the template that we did, that was the main part of the butterfly wing. This is the Spinifex number 13 at 11.5. So that's this part right here, all on the outside. This shape right here and this curly Q right here, that's curly Q number 8.5. So let me just make sure I'm not lying to you. I'm gonna have to look at it again really quick. All right, yes, curly Q, and it does say 8.5, so this is evens, and they're by half. So that was the whole part of the body, both sides. I spin it on one side and the other, and then this is the curl, and then this right here is the between the lines 1/4 inch for the little head. And the thing about the head is you got to watch the head size, because typically it's actually so much smaller than the body. So if you have the head be really big, I think it looks disproportionate. So Nina asks, is there a website or book that shows all these ideas? So Nina, that book is inside my head. Eventually, maybe it will be out there. But the reality is I have too many ideas. It's impossible to put them all into one place. This is a spring theme. So what I am just doing is showing the concept of how you can mix your rulers up, and you can get something that is appropriate for whatever theme that you want to have. So in the past, we've done angels, we've done stars, sometimes we do weather. It's, you know, whatever, something. We've done a pumpkin one time with different fills. So the concept is really to help inspire you. It's not so much to create something where you're copying it, because what if you don't have this ruler? Or what if you don't have this right here? Well, this is a curl, and this is part of a circle. Can you make this at home without this template? If you have, say, a curl like this, right? You can do your own curl, and then when you get to a certain spot, you can put your circle on, and then you can create your curly Q with your circle. So what we're showing is the adaptability of the templates and how you can play with them and get more value out of them. Generally, my strategy for my education content for Sundays is I try to show something that only uses maybe 1 or 2 templates, that's not really complicated, it doesn't take a lot of marking. Then I'll do something a little bit harder, and then a little bit more complicated, but the design maybe has some bigger wow factor. So we start with something where I think everybody can access it and do it, and then we try to also give something that kind of is a little bit more brain challenge for those people that, you know, are willing to sit there and work it out. Okay, so let's see where we are now. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. That's a lot of talking. Get sewing. I always say that. Okay, so we said we were going to keep the same curly Q, right? So we're going to do this one on this side. All right, so I'm going to line it up right on the dot, just like we did before. I think we'll start at the bottom, and I'll go all the way up to the curly Q and come back here. I think that's going to make it simpler. Maybe I didn't do the path the easiest way I could last time. I want to make sure, I'm going to lift this up, but I want to make sure he doesn't hit anything. Oh, perfect, good. This is such a narrow channel that I keep my knee lift at the ready so that I don't put that ruler kind of half on, half off. So if you have your knee lift, I always recommend that. I think it's so much easier when you're working with that. Let's put some little tacking stitches in right there. I have to scoot things over here. My fabric has to be adjusted. Here we go. He's kind of pulling a little bit. I can feel him. Whenever he's kind of hanging down in your lap, that's when you get that kind of torque on there. As soon as you feel it, just stop and adjust it. That'll be much, much better. You won't get a weird pulling stitch, and you'll be able to kind of get what you want. So right here, I'm in the straight line. So I'm going to lift this up, and sometimes if I can raise the needle just a little on this machine, that'll make it easier to get out of there and get this flipped over. Then I won't have to fight with it quite so much. All right, so we'll line it up down at the bottom. We're looking for this line to go right through where we stopped down at the bottom. And hopefully I can get the top adjusted as well. There we go. All right, so get him pressed down, make sure that the ruler is touching, and now let's sew, and we'll connect the body down at the bottom. All right, here's our next one. So this takes a different template, and it's pretty easy to use. It's not complicated. It does have 2 different sizes that I'm going to use. So I'm going to cut these threads, get those out of our way. And I may come down here. I think that that's not tacked in real good. I think we'll come back and we'll do a little thing over here and tack him in really good. Okay, let's put our needle down so that he's anchored right there. That way he won't move around. The next one we're going to do is 2 different hearts. And what is the point of 2 different hearts? If we have 2 different sizes, I think that that's really helpful to being able to do the wings and get a little dimension on the wings. So I don't want it to go all the way down to the body, so I'm just randomly making it not touch at the bottom. I could almost make it touch if I wanted to, but I don't want it to. So let's go ahead and do our heart, and we don't want to cut into anybody, so that was the thing that I was looking for at the top. And I'm not going to come all the way back. So right here, I'm about 1/4 inch from this edge, and I'll show you why that is. This is totally poetic license. You decide what you want to do. I can start from right there, but here, what I'm looking for is I want to create a little bit more of something that is bigger and a little bit offset. So I'm just going to put another wing, and by not starting in exactly the same spot, then I make it look a little bit like it's behind. So let's turn it over and let's show you what we're getting. Right, so there's the wing that is behind, right? Because we didn't start right there. This gives the appearance that this wing is actually behind. And then let's do one more thing that I want to do with this. I'm just going to move up about 2 stitches, 1, 2, not very much. And I'm going to put this back on a little tighter than it was. It's probably about 1/8, so let's show you that, right? And I'm going to have to probably adjust it as we go because I'm not all the way at the top. But let's just go ahead and we'll sew this little echo. And I'm going to stop it right there, and then I'm going to readjust the position here so that we can kind of get that 1/8 on the other side as well. And then here I'm just going to go until it touches now. And we'll come right back to the top. So why did I do that? So let me show you what it looks like now. We're trying to create a visual impact that has a 3-dimensionality. By having 2 lines stitched really close together like that, we create the illusion that maybe there is some depth in this space, right? That the wing maybe is moving and that there is some layering in there. And then we could do whatever we want. We could also do the same layering on the inside. Right now, what we'll do is we'll just come back over here and we're going to put the little head on our butterfly right here. Okay, so just for this one, let me show you. The ones that I used for this one were, again, the Curly Q number 8.5, and this is the 3 and the 4-inch heart from the heart set. So having two different sizes makes it really easy to create that layering with the wings. So anytime that you have some templates where you have the same shape and you can do one size and then the other, that's a really great way to put your wing in as well. So on the first one, we just canted the ruler a little bit for this. We just tipped it right here at the end, and that gave us this right here where it's not exactly lined up. And then here we created that by having one be bigger, and then we just came out a little far to start it. So those are two different techniques that you can do for layering to create that three-dimensional look for your pieces. Okay, so let's put our little head on our guy. This was that one that was really tricky to get on, so I'm going to raise my needle just a little bit and use my knee lift. And that way I can get this in there without any obstruction. And then we'll put that tape on. So I'll check my needle position. Make sure he's where he needs to be. And I don't even need to make the full circle right here. I just need to make maybe a little bit of the circle. And that kind of has like a little flatness to it because it's only round on one side. And then we'll just put a couple of those tacking stitches in there. All right, so let's do one more little embellishment on this cutie and then we'll move on. Okay, let's pull this out, get him off. All right, we'll get our needle seated right back where we want to. Now, I can make an echo on the outside of this and make it come down to here if I want to, or just like we talked about with a little extra we can just follow this and we can just come down and curve right into the corner. Where are we going? We're going down to the bottom. So however you want to get down to the bottom, you can get there. You can use a ruler, you can use freehand, you can do squiggly lines. It's up to you. A little texture is always good. Even if it's wiggly, that's true in nature. You're going to find that, so you shouldn't be worried about that. All right, so let's raise this up just a little bit so we can get this through there. This is a very, very tiny little curly Q, and I'm going to do one down here like this. So little curly Q. Well, he wants to wiggle around a lot. Now I'm going to turn just a little bit and we'll put another one. I realize I don't have any grips on this little guy, and boy, is he letting me know it. Okay, so let's get him out and then we'll show you what we got. Let's put some of those tacking stitches in there too. You know what we'll do? Let's just be really crazy. Let's fill up this line right here with some extra thread, because we can. And we can use that 12-inch arc if you want to have your line be cleaner. We can just put a little bit of extra lines in here like this. You can just let the ruler guide you, and then you can just kind of go back and forth and put a little extra texture in there. Notice how I'm adjusting the position of the ruler with my thumb down here. I just pull it a little bit or push it in order to get the foot to go where I want to go, wherever I see that there's gaps, and I can make it fill in a little bit more whichever side that I want to. So then kind of put a little texture right in there into that butterfly. So I can see there's some little holes right there. So let's see how we did. Right there, I see one last little hole, and then we'll be done. That's a lot of extra stitching right there, but I think it looks cute. It's really fun with the variegated thread because it adds a lot of dimension to it there. All right, let's cut that and we'll be done with that one. There, what do you think? Do you like that? So we can always make the body shorter, we can always make the wing bigger, we can make these shorter or longer. This is about the shortest curly Q. And then you can always put any kind of embellishment in here that you want to. So yeah, Judy, you asked about some of the mini spinifex. I think that the spinifex are great, and they actually make great embellishments inside the wing as well. Like you can just use the center point and you can put one of those little spinifex in here, and you can do a little spiral rotation right here. And that would be a really cute embellishment for these wings that would have sort of that segmenting that you would find on an actual butterfly, where you have, you know, different model patterns and different geometric shapes that are imprinted on the wing of a butterfly. You can create those yourself just by using some of your other smaller pieces. All right, let's cut our thread real quick. All right, there you go. He's pretty fun. I think sometimes it's not as fun when we look at it and we see all of the chalk. So let's flip it over. This is our butterfly on the back. Super cute. We can even put a second little antennae in there to make it look like you have two. You can do one that is an echo on the inside a little bit, and you can get two. So I think that would also look really good. And then there's the other one, right? So let's scroll down. I'm just going to kind of look at the questions really quickly. Well, you guys are just listening so carefully. There's hardly any questions. Let's see. So many possibilities. I think that is always what I'm looking to try to express to you, that there is not a limitation. These tools can always do more than you think. And we're going to use the next grouping of tools, which is actually quite a few different ones. And I kind of have them written down on a piece of paper as my random rule. So I'm just going to cover the concept of the random rule really fast, because what a random rule means to me might be different than what you think it means. When I say a random rule, it doesn't mean that there's no rule. It means that there is a rule that I've created that I can repeat so that I can create some level of symmetry for myself or for my design. And the randomness is, it's whatever I decide. And it could be I just look at it and I say, okay, that's the rule. I'm just picking that. So, you know, it's not that there's no rule, it's that we need some way. So if we do half of a butterfly on this side, I want to try to apply the same rules on the other side so my butterfly doesn't look like he's all cattywampus, right? So let's go ahead and we'll get started on that. So for this one, we're going to make the butterfly with this 10.5 inch. And Pat, can you go grab the picture? And it says rules. It has like a little list of the rules written on that manila paper in the notebook right there on the floor. Yeah, there's like a list of the rules. So it's not that I feel like I have to follow the rules, but I created this item and I kind of want to be able to explain them to you as I go. So he's helping me with my cheat sheet. So let's go ahead and we'll line this up. And we'll put our body in. So where we're starting is we're trying to start where we're touching, and we're just going to put the body in so that we have the end to end. And then we'll put a different Curly Q on for his antenna. We're not actually going to use this for the antenna because I think this is too large. So we are going to use the curvature, and we're going to make the body. So we'll kind of put this sort of halfway there. So right now the needle is in the center, and we'll do the one side, and we'll come back up to the top and do the other side. So this is a little bit centered on these lines. This is the 6-point crosshair, and I have actually 12 marks, and I'm just using those as visual reference. When you play with it, if you wanted to use a different crosshair, you could use a different one. I think that you want to use an even numbered, so like the 6 or the 8-point. I think the 5 still would give you an even number, but I think it makes it a little bit complicated. So let's go ahead, we'll come back up to the top. We've got to switch our little friend around. So we'll bring the needle up just slightly so we can knee lift and get out of the channel. And we'll flip them around so we can go the other way. And just lower him down, putting the foot down into this down position. So we'll get lined up here at the bottom so we can get our design right lined up. Right there, there is a center mark, and that is lined up right where we want to stop, right at the end of the body. If you ever want to use your spacing gauge to check that, that's always a good idea. And I'm just going to lay him flat against the template like this. So this flush edge is flat like that. And then that will help me to sew right back into where I want to go. Whenever you're using these templates that have this open channel, make sure that you're sewing on the side that doesn't have the channel, because I found myself having to remind myself today, hey, you're sewing on that side, not on the other side. So this one's open, so I can just take him out of there. He's got a bigger channel. And I'm going to put a bigger head on my butterfly, because my butterfly is a lot bigger this time, a lot bigger. So let's go ahead and get out our 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is my favorite between the line. I love this size. I use it a lot for everything. So we're right at the top of our butterfly, so we can just put this on and line that up, and we're just going to make a circle. So this has a center line, and I'm lining it up on the back and on the front. So I'm going to scoot some of these tools out of the way. So just to show you right here, see this line? This is aligned on that line, and so is this. And we can make the circle, and that keeps his head nice and straight. Keeps his head on straight. Right? Isn't that funny? Okay, so here I'm going to come up until the edge of this foot touches right there, and then I'm going to take this off. What am I doing now? Okay, this is the next rule. So we've made the body, and we've used the 10.5 Curly Q, and now we've made the head, and this is the 1/2 inch between the lines. Am I switching a lot? Yes, I am. We are going to be doing that, but it's going to look so awesome, so it's going to be worth it. Okay, so in order to put the little antennae on, I'm using a different size. This one's a little shorter, so it's going to look a little bit more proportional. So this one is 6.5, and you can see here this is not quite as deep because you're going to be taking up a 1/4 inch. So that's going to help us have a nice cute little size. I want my antennae to curve to the outside, so on this side we'll go this way. And I don't want the antenna here to cross over. So right here, this furthest edge, I'm going to make it touch the center line, and then also this antenna. Let's see, my foot keeps sliding way back today. Here we go. Curl. Get right back to the circle, and now I just want you to kind of scoot this around, and I'm literally just going to slowly take a couple of stitches until my foot goes around the circle and that he's touching on the other side. And if you can't do that, if that's not comfortable for you, you can put your circle back on and just use the circle to get around that circle. It's fine. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. Or you can put like a little halo so that you're not stitching over the same line, but you just want to kind of get back to the matching place on the opposite side. So when we did this one on this side, the foot was touching the center line, and now we're touching on this side, so when we line this one up, they should be about the same. So that's the random rule for applying these two antennas and kind of getting them aligned so that they will be nice and even. So we got to switch them around. We want the antenna to curve out. So you'll see that I've put the grips on both sides for the antennas. And again, up here, I want the plastic edge right here to touch the center line. What that will do is it's already a 1/4 inch away on this side, and now it'll be a 1/4 inch away on this side. So there'll be a little gap, and these will curve like that, and they'll look so cute. All right, so let's go. Does it matter to me if one is slightly longer than the other? No, I don't care. It's going to look like the butterfly has some life to him. He's not going to be like a carbon copy mirror image, right? Okay, So let's take this off and we'll show you where we're at, and then we'll start working on the wings. All right, I love it. Doesn't that look so cute? Let's put our needle down so we don't go awry. And I'll turn it a little bit just so you can kind of see where we're at. So we got a really cute little head, some really tall antennas. You could make them shorter. It's up to you. It's totally your call. That's just your little bit of designing exploration. If you draw them out on paper, you can decide if you want them to be shorter or longer or whatever you want. We're going to use that really big spin effects that we used before, and I'll show you how we're going to line it up as well. So right now we are on the antenna, and I want to come down a little bit. I want to come to about the halfway point. It's about 2 or 3 stitches down from where we are. So when we're on this side, we'll do the same thing. Now I want to put this on, and I want this part to be the top of the wing. So notice how this is angled this way. We want the wing to go out away from the body like that. So that's the orientation that I'll use when I'm first putting this on in order to get us lined up. Oh, I can tell I put my line on the wrong side. I'm discombobulated. He's supposed to be this way, and he's going this way. This is a reference line right here. Let me show you how I made it. I actually did it about 1.5. So we can just use this line right here, and we can just mark this as the reference line. But the actual ruler that I used to mark it was from my new So Steady Table Caddy, and it's just a cute little flat ruler, which I have no idea what I did with it. So we're just going to fudge it. We'll just make a line. I think that's about right there. But we need a reference line as we sew the wing. You'll see why in just a minute. And I think I'll just kind of, well, I can't scoot it down, but it's there, and we'll make it longer later if we have to. Okay, so let's sew out. Let's put this right in here. And this line, I kind of want to line it up with this line. So remember I told you that we're putting crosshair reference lines in there, and we're using whatever we need to just to give us some visual references. Well, this is one of those, and it looks like my line needs to be just a little bit longer so that I can make sure I can touch it when I come out. So we'll make the other one longer when we sew that side, but let's get it lined up. And we're just going to put the center line right on there, and we'll sew right out from the wing right here. We don't want to cut into anything that we've already stitched, so we're just going to hold everything in place. Oh, what did I do? I had kind of a wonky stitch right there at the beginning. Well, it is what it is. We're just going to keep sewing. So right here, I want you to stop. We're on that line. So we told you right here that we've made this line, and this is the line that comes down about 3/4 of an inch right there. Can you see that? So we're going to make this a little longer because we need it to go all the way across. All right, so now we can do it because the ruler's out of the way. And we want to have, we're not coming right back to the center with the wing. We want to create some dimension of the wing. And the thing that I don't want, I could set it just like this, and I could come down this way. There's nothing wrong with that. This would look awesome. But what I want is I want the dip to come in to the wing. So I'm actually going to take it off and flip it over, and that's just pickiness, you know, my design choice. I want the curvature of the wing to go in. So you can choose differently if you want to, that's up to you. But that's why I'm flipping it over. And that lets you see that here now, as we curve in, it's going to go this way. And we're going to come down to this line. And what we're trying to do is approximately get this kind of squared up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're trying to make this go straight down like this. Okay, so we'll do that. And we'll come down to that line that we made. And now we can just get back in with our wing like that. And we can make it go as far as we want to. It doesn't have to be perfect. So right now, let's see if I can show you where we are. I'm a little bit far out. right in the center line, I'm going to try to get right back to the midline. It's not the top of the body, but that's okay. I'll show you one thing we're going to do to kind of get back out to the edges. So we're on this center line right here. We're pretty much lined right up. So I'm going to scoot a little bit up right on the body. And let me show you what I want to do. I want to create a little space, and I'm going to echo it with the same template. So let me show you. And this is something that we can repeat when we're on the other side. So I think we have to come out a stitch or two to get it lined up. We're almost there. Right there. Right here, we're aligned on this about 1/4 of an inch. It's not exactly perfect, but that's okay. We don't care. What is this function? This is going to add some three-dimensionality to the design. More than that, it's going to get me out to the edge again so that I can continue with my design. All right, so let's scoot down to the bottom. So we're at this point right there. So we've kind of made the top of the wing. So let's pull this off and let's show you where we're at so far and kind of what it looks like. So what do you think so far? Let's see if we can get you out a little bit so you can see some more. Doesn't that look so cool? Right? So you can see this was that curve, and this is a beautiful curve. And this is what you might see, that the butterfly wing would curve in a little bit, and we have this as a reference guide so that when we do the other side, we can match it on the other side. So that's always some of the key things that we want to do, is try to match it on the other side. Now, let me put the tape on, get this guy put back in my ruler rack so I can find him later, because we will definitely need him again. And let me just show you like some different ideas for things that we could do. We can put a really big template like this on. And I'll just put the tape here for a second. This one is symmetrical. And we could choose either side, right? We could line this up and we can just get this back here to the body. So this kind of becomes a little bit of the bottom. And because this is about the full size of the template that we just took off, it's actually going to fit perfectly right here. If it didn't, I can just pick some other random rule. Maybe we could make him come down to the bottom, and this is the bottom then of this lobe. We could use a heart template. So I've got a lot of the big heart templates right here. If we wanted to, we can just stick this heart on there and make it touch, and this could come out, or it could tip down like that, whatever we wanted. So we'll go ahead and we'll use this one right now. This one is the Spinifex number 14, and this is the 11.5 inch size, and I'm actually going to make it come right in to the where we left off. So and then we'll come in right there, and I'm actually going to come back out right to there. There's a nice footrest spot right there, so that's easy to find. We don't have to guess if we're in the right spot. It's really a convenient place if we want to put something else on or change directions or anything like that. So then we'll take this off. And then let's show you what we've got. So we're just playing. We're really just playing. So this is what our wing looks like so far. And if we wanted to put anything else, any kind of small shape, we can. So one of the things that I thought might be good in this space that would add a little bit of kind of a finish down here would be that little heart. So let me find that real quick. So we have a couple of different sizes that we could see what fits. So something like that, maybe, or if we wanted to go the other way, let's see. And then we can get right back into the bottom. Let's play with it. Oh, I have a better idea. Let's use a different one. That one is not the right size, but I have one that's a little easier to use. Let's put this right in the hook right there. And then we can just make this come over and touch the bottom. So this is 1/4 inch away, and that will kind of fill in the bottom of that space right there. We can always put some additional echoes in if we want to. At the bottom of this, we can make additional shapes, additional pieces of the wing. You can keep adding whatever you want. And we're at the point now, we've done half of this butterfly. So let me just show you the kind of the whole thing right now. So this is the bottom part of the wing, and we might be able to put a little lobe in here from the center. I think we should do that. All right, let's do one last little lobe, because I think he needs a little something. Perfect. Oh, I love it. That's going to be perfect. So right here, I just want to be able to get back in. So let's go ahead and we'll put a little lobe in there. And if I want to echo this, I have even bigger hearts, so I could echo this. Once I get right back to the center here, we're going to start working on the other side of the butterfly. So in order to do that, we really have to get up to his head right here. So how can we do that in a really easy fashion? I'm going to take this heart and I'm going to kind of put a little narrow part of his body in there. And then we'll do another one. Okay, and then we'll stretch this one to give us another one. Okay, and then we'll do one almost up to the head, maybe right in the middle there. Kind of testing it out, making sure I've got a good fit right in the middle. Okay, so I'm right on that connection right there, and I'm going to come around so that I'm on the opposite side. I want to get lined up pretty much right with this guy on the opposite side. And then I'm ready to start that wing all over again. So let's get that out again. That was the really big Spinifex number 13. And let's see, how are we doing if you guys have some questions? Donna Dean says, I am a purist and I don't mix textiles. So Donna Dean, I would say that I think I started out that way. Cotton, 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 don't put poly with cotton. As a designer, as an artist, I'm at the point where the quality of the thread that we have now is better than it has ever been. The quality of the dyes, the lack of color fading, the strength of the textiles, they are just so good anymore. And I really am going to use whatever I want in order to get the artistic look that I want. A lot of times when I'm making something, I want it to be used. I actually don't really care if it's going to be around 100 years from now. I really just want it to be loved and used really well. So that's really what is the limiting factor for me, personally. So maybe that answers your question. I do recommend polyester for new users because it does help with thread breakage. It's really strong. And if you're kind of getting used to the push and pull of the ruler work, then that is really helpful because it helps you build your confidence and it helps you move more smoothly. But I'm going to use everything. I use silk, I use poly, I use rayon, I use everything, whatever I want, as long as it's good quality and that it does what I want it to do. But you should make your own decisions. I'm not telling you you should do anything different, just that that's what I like to do. So let's see. So let me tell you, somebody else commented on different threads, and I'm going to mention that rayon is really, really shiny and fabulous, and it is a natural fiber, but it is weak. If you're using that and you are making an heirloom and you want it to hold together forever and ever, you better have a lot of it and layer it heavily. it's not as strong. You know, you're going to have to baby that thread a little bit because it's a little bit weaker. And then cotton would be next, and then polyester is the strongest. And then like mercerized cotton is where it's cotton wrapped poly. That's sort of in the middle there. It's got the best of both worlds. You've got a polyester core that's really strong, and then you've got the look of cotton that's wrapped around that. So lots of different choices. You should really just try to do good quality because your thread's going to last longer and it's going to be made better, and it's also going to be easier on your machine. So, okay, there we go. I'm just scrolling down really quick. I didn't forget what I was doing. I'm just trying to make sure we answer some questions. Yeah, rayon, Mary, you're right. Rayon's very fragile. I agree with that. Also, you know, if you're having trouble with your threads, always use a thread net if your thread pools really easily. I've found that that is an amazing assist, and I don't think that's part of common education. Di Werner said YLI and King Tut both have 40 weight cottons. I absolutely love YLI machine quilting thread. Love it. I think the colors are super vibrant and it quilts really pretty. I have a lot of King Tut also. Superior is a good brand. So yeah, use what you have. It's okay. There's no, you don't have to throw anything out. Just use what you have. Okay. Kate, I'm a dangerous woman. Dangerous to your time and your wallet. Hey, I'm not advocating you buy anything you don't want. Oh, okay. But if it can help you do what you want, remember, tools are valuable, and that's, you know, if other people can have great tools, so can we, right? I think I'm going to take one more stitch down on my head of my butterfly, and I'm going to get lined up. And let's start this other wing now. So we're tucked in and we're aligned on this line all the way out, and we'll go ahead and sew this. Now, do you remember the first part of the rule is I want the butterfly wing to curve in when we get to this point. So right now we're at the line. So I'm going to take this off and flip it over so that it's going to curve towards the inside of the wing. Because if I put it on right now like that, it curves out first. I want it to curve in. Okay, so flip it over. Plus on the bottom, then we're already in the right position because when we curve back in, we're going to have it curve that same way too. So then we won't have to change directions too much. There's my tape. Always make sure you secure it right where the foot is going to be. And then let me align it so I can show you what we're lining up. Just like we talked about before, we're trying to get this approximately straight. So this line, let me scoot down a little so you can see. The line that we made that's about 1.5 inches down below, I tested this on paper. How do I know where to put this line? I know that I cannot sew all the way down to the bottom and come back to the butterfly. I know that I have to cut off some of this, otherwise when I line it up to go back into the butterfly, he can't fit. Because I can't have, it's not an isosceles triangle, it's like this one goes out far, then this one has to be shorter so I can get back in over here. So that's what this line is for. That's why I don't just sew all the way down to the bottom, because I can't fit him in there. And the only way that I figured that out is when I was working on it, then I knew I couldn't fit it in. So I'm like, okay, I have to make that line shorter. He wouldn't come back and touch my butterfly, and it was really annoying. So right about there is my tuck line. And now I can turn this, and I want to get in about the same place as I'm touching on the other side. So let's see where we're at on the other side. So right at this center line, right? So that's what I'm going to use to line it up. Right here, this center position, I'm touching right there. So I'm going to try to line this up so I can come right in to that same spot, approximately. And if I need to do a little smushing, then I will. So it looks like even with my smushing, I'm about a stitch off. So I'm just going to close the distance, get into the body. And then remember here, what we did is we sewed it down just a little bit along the body, so we have this 1/2 inch opening. So let's go ahead and we'll do that and we'll get back out. So it's the spacing of the foot is what we're looking for. And we need to be a little bit of a 1/4 inch away. So right there, this is all that 1/4 inch right there. So we can just echo that back out. Oh, did I do it on the wrong side? Ah, I did. You guys, I'm crazy, right? Did I go the wrong way? Let's check. I sure did. I got to go up towards the top. Oh, that's bonbon time, right? It always happens. There's always something going on, right? There's my 1/2 inch right here. So let's go ahead and we'll take 1 or 2 stitches out so we can kind of get in the line. And this should be a 1/2 inch right here. That's what we're looking for. And if I need to make a little adjustment as I go, then I can. It's like if I see that the foot's getting tight right here, I think this is a little narrow right here. So if I get to that and it feels like it's getting tight, I'll just turn this slightly so I can get out to this edge. Really pretty. All right. And then I stitched back down to the bottom. Okay, and that's when we added that extra part, right? So I'll have a little bonbon line that I'll have to cut off. Ah, what happened? Can you guys not see? Darn it. All right, well, I'll get this next one aligned a little better for you. Let's take this off. That's what those random rules are. If you write them down and you follow them, it's going to be a little bit easier, right? But look at, I love it so far. So this little guy, we'll have to rip him out because he's going to interfere with our cute little design that we have here. So right now, we're going to put this same shape, and remember what we said, we're going to make it so that he can come back in and close the design. So let's go ahead and put that on real quick. A lot of switching today, huh? I think it's fun to see that you don't have to use these tools how they have some special design that's inside of the book. You can use them however you want to use them, right? And I think that's what I love to share with people. I think that that's really important. So let's see where we're getting lined up here. I think we're lined up right there. So this right here is lined right up at this position. And he's going to sew right back into where we left off. He actually fits perfectly right there. Let's see, we are so far out, I can't give you a good view of that. So right where we are out here on the edge, this dimension is the same. So this is that bottom line, and this fits right exactly in there. So as I line it up, I should be able to sew right back to that line, and then I'll be matching on the other side. So as you go around this area, just kind of go gently so you don't whip around that corner. Then maybe if I need 1 or 2 stitches to get back in there, I'll have to get him lined back up so I can come back out. He kind of went a little bit wonky. Right here, if you get off, you can just use your spacing gauge and get back on. Just put the spacing gauge like that in 1 or 2 spots, and then I can just sew right back out there. I usually start pretty gently to make sure I'm in the line just in case. And then I can adjust right here, make sure I'm a 1/4 inch away. Okay, and that's where we left off. So then we put that little heart on there to close the distance to the bottom of the body, and we'll do that next. Alrighty. So let's see, we do have our little wonky thing right there, but we're going to put this line in here, and then we'll put this portion of the heart in there, and then I got 2 little things that go on the bottom, and then we'll be done, and then we'll have a little bit more discussion about different choices that you can make. So let's see how we did that. I can't remember how we got in there. maybe like that. Kind of just put that nice little curve in there so we can get back down there. Because it's kind of flat, right, when we got down there. There we go. All right, and then we used a bigger heart. I think we used the 4-inch heart right there just to put that in. And if I want to here, you could measure this space right here to see where you're going to touch, and you can also put a line, a reference line on the bottom. So let me show you that. Right here, this has a straight line, and let's kind of get you in so you could see down at the bottom. That on the right, the largest line, this curvature right here, this comes down a certain distance. So I can use this straight line right here on the center line and touching at the bottom to make this line come across. And this tells me how far down the heart is touching, right? And then I can also measure right here how far over that is. So let's see if I have an actual ruler that I can measure that with. So from the needle position, it's about 3 1/4 or 3 1/2. So I can just take this over here on the center line, and then 3 1/2 is right here. So it needs to come about this far out to be even. And let's make sure I'm using the right one. I think that's the right size. Yeah, so we should be able to just hook him right on there like that and be able to get essentially right into that space, just like that. And that's the 1/4 inch down on the bottom, so hopefully that'll let us touch right on the bottom where we want to. And we'll come in and touch the line. So pretty good. I think we did pretty well. We're going to come right back to the center, and then let's go ahead and we'll put the last 2 little bits in, and then we'll talk about some different ideas that you can do. So this is kind of the bottom, and then I want to put maybe some little swallows, like swallowtail butterfly parts in there. So again, I don't want them to touch, and I don't want to cut into my existing design up there either. Okay, put that needle up a little bit so we can easily get this out. And flip them over. All right, and let's get that needle right down at the top, and we'll line him back up. Same thing. So I don't want to touch, so we're just touching the center line. That center line is going to keep those little guys from crossing over. Okay, let's tack this off a little bit, and then we'll take everything out, and we're going to flip it over so you can see. And then we're going to talk about ways that you can use your rulers, and you can do just some embellishments, because there's an awful lot of space in there that I think you would want to fill with some different things, and I've got a couple ideas for you. So you guys saw that I just stopped right here where all this little mess was, and I have double tacked up here. So what I can do here is when I'm sitting in front of the TV, I call this bonbon time. I can just rip this out now because all the other stitching around it was double or triple stitched. So this can go away and it won't affect anything. I try not to fix these things while I'm actually making a project, because then I end up stopping. I get distracted by, oh, I have to fix that or whatever. If I can leave it in without affecting the final design, I do. And then I'll just pick it out when everything's all done, when I'm sitting around. Then I don't have to worry about it. I can eat bonbons, watch TV, and pick it out. All right, so let's see if we can get these extra threads off of here, and we're going to flip this over so we can show you what our final design looks like on the other side without all this mess. All right, well, he's still in my way, huh? There we go. Just cut that now. There you go. See, it looks great. Let's go out a little bit so we can see it. It's kind of a big butterfly, so it's pretty big, right? And if you didn't like these, or you just want something smaller, or you wanted to put another lobe in here and make these kind of butt together, that's totally your option. One of the things that I like to do is I like to use the different sections and put some embellishments. So one of the things that I think would be really cool is an idea that I'm going to show you that was developed by Honey. So he's my design advisor, and he has a lot of great ideas. And one of the things that he said when I said I was doing this butterfly is he said, well, can you make it like there's some kind of an eye on the wing, you know, in order to kind of create that sensation just like you would have with a real butterfly? And I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So let's get my needle seated right there. Let's tack it a little bit. And the shape that we're going to put in there is this Spinifex 13. It's a smaller size. I actually have all of these. These are so useful, and I think this is, to me, the one that is most like a butterfly shape. And by putting that into this opening space, I'm kind of centering it on this, right? So if there was a straight line visually, let me just show you what I mean. If that's the needle position from the foot, I want to have this kind of centered on the dip right here in this wing. So I can repeat that when I'm on the other side. This is, number one, going to mimic the outer shape of the wing because it's this matching shape. So that's something that is nice because it's going to create a little visual parity. When you look at it, it's going to have a nice line that's very, very sympathetic to this line. By putting it right here in the middle of this dip, I'm sort of filling in this space. And if you wanted to make an adjustment, again, you've got all these lines here. You can make it go this way or that way just by using one of these lines. If you wanted to remember what line that you're going to use so you don't forget, we have these awesome ruler stickers. So let's go ahead. We'll just pick a line and we'll just put this on there. Let's use that line, I think, right there. This line right here, I think, is going to balance it. I can see how much space is on each side, and this line is letting me kind of put this part in the middle. And then I can have that same line to use on the other side. So let's go ahead and sew this. Okay, now before I go anywhere, I want to come back to this little dip right here. You can see I actually have a little green arrow right there. And let me show you what we're going to do with this, because I think it's going to look so cool. Let's pull this off. We'll save this for later because we got to do the other side. All right, we need the 1 inch and the 1/2 inch circle. So let me grab those. These are my between the lines circles, and I know that these already fit because I tested them. And I'm going to tip it this way so you can see what I'm seeing. Right in there, I'm going to put a circle. And I'm going to make both of my intersecting circles touch on the bottom. So put that on, close it up. And I'm trying to fit it into this space right here, trying to have the same amount of space on either side, and I'm going to put this circle right in there. So maybe I'll take 1 stitch forward just so I don't cut anybody off. And if you want more definition with that thread, just go around 1 or 2 times. It's okay. It won't hurt to have any extra thread in there. It's going to look great. Now we'll take this off. And we'll remove this one, and we'll put the other one on. And I'm already centered right where I want the eye, so I can just line this up, centered exactly the same. And I'll try and put this right in the middle. In fact, I'll see if I can even center this little circle right in the middle as well, so we can have the same amount of space on either side. Now, I think it's impractical to sew back over to here and try to do this on the other side. If I tack this off, I can just put a few extra stitches in there, get that secured, pick up the needle, and then I can just walk this right back to the center. We'll take all this off. We'll put a little jump stitch in. We'll get right back to the center. If you release your presser foot, that lets the threads follow you. And then I'll just start right back here. And then I can put this in and I can put it on the other side. Put the needle right there. And then I can put that little eyeball right on the other side. So what do you think? Do you want me to do the eyeball on the other side? Still not getting this one yet? So what, I guess the question is, somebody said they're not seeing the usage yet. So what I'm showing you is your rulers have the ability to echo themselves, to create different curvy pieces, to use in combination. Instead of this just being a curly Q, to me it looks like a butterfly antenna. And I can put all kinds of pieces together to create something that doesn't actually look like anything that you might think that it's supposed to look like. You're not having to follow some rote formula in order to only create what's in a book or something like that. You have the total freedom to make these tools work for you in any way that you see fit. So I think that's the piece that I just really want you to get. It's not that you have to make a butterfly even. You can make whatever you want. All right, so here we'll try to line this up, and I think we said we lined up this way. We're trying to get it spaced a little bit. This much space and this much space. We're trying to put our little butterfly right in the middle. So I'm going to take a stitch or two out just so we don't cut into the butterfly head. Oh, I went the wrong side. We'll have to come back to this side because this is where we're going to put the eye in. All right, let's follow this back. And we'll get right to the dip right there. And then we'll take this off. So what are you guys working on this week? I've seen a lot of Donnell's patterns. A lot of people have been taking Donnell's beginning to quilt class. I've seen a lot of Janet Collins stuff this week, which is really cool. She has a really great pattern that she's got people working on. Several people have finished their feather sampler as well. It's been fun seeing what you guys are doing. And some amazing quilts too. I've seen a couple of Baptist fan people that have posted theirs, like full-size quilts, really big quilts, which has been very exciting because whenever you feel like you can get a full-size quilt and you can quilt that with rulers, to me it feels like you have arrived. You know, you've got what you need. So here we'll put our little circle in. I think we'll take one stitch up just to make sure we don't cut into anybody. And we did 2 circles when we did this the last time. So we'll go ahead and we'll go around 2 times, and then we'll put our little single eyeball in there. So I think sometimes people, they ask me, well, isn't that a lot of switching your rulers around? And I always answer, you know, I don't mind doing that. It doesn't really make me annoyed or irritated. I mean, half of the time I just want what I want. I want the design that I want. So I don't really find any big stress over switching things because I don't think I could make these circles as perfect as I wanted to without the rulers. So the rulers are still giving me what I want. I want to make the design really beautiful, really clean, and this is allowing me to do that. So I'm willing to go ahead and take the extra time to switch them out every time. All right, let's take this off and we'll cut threads and show you what we got. Then I'm going to show you one little pink sample that I have. It's kind of messy, that's why I don't have it up here right now. But I think that it shows you some of the potential for other ideas of how you could use the templates, and then I'll also maybe pull up my notebook as well. And then we'll be done. Let's see, I need a scissors. let's cut some of these. We got jump stitches. So we will have a thread on the back for that area. But there's your butterfly. Pretty cool, huh? We'll cut some of these threads. We got a couple of loosey-goosey threads, but I love this. It looks like that big monarch butterfly eye. He's like beady-eyed, staring down at you. Pretty cool, huh? Is he crooked? A little bit crooked. But it's really fun. So I think that the thing I want to encourage with this kind of session is that, you know, your tools, you can do a lot more with them than you think, and it's okay to play with them and just not have an expectation of them doing this exact thing or that exact thing. If you can just give yourself some opportunity to play, then you are freeing yourself a little bit from having to everything be so routine and rote. So I'm going to just pull my notebook up here, see if I can show you a couple things. Let's see, I think I'm going to take my phone out of the phone stand. So hang on just a second. Don't get dizzy. And I'm going to just put my notebook on the floor and show you some of these ideas. So we'll stick them over by the window so you guys can see. Really good. So here's some of the ideas of what you can do. And you can use the rulers to do those kind of segmenting like that. And then here's like just another one. This is the Circles on Quilts 21, and there's sort of the bullseye on the wing. And there's no actual head, but the suggestion of the body is by the curly Qs overlapping one over the other with the bigger shape. So that's an option for you. And then this is a smaller Spinifex number 14, and you can just put like a little spiral in the head with the bigger antenna over the top. And then this would be different ways that you can make, you know, the center right there, like the antenna can go different ways. And this is like the swallowtail, and there's a little bit of texture here on the body, right? And then let me flip it. One of my favorites, let me show you, is this one over here. I'll probably use this. Oh, wrong page. Maybe I have to go the other way. Isn't he cute right there? Look at that little guy. He looks like he's all angry, right? He's like dejected butterfly. And then you got this little guy. This is the Marquis 85 from the Artisan Curves and the Curly Q. So you can use just about anything that you have. And then let's see. This was me playing with it, trying to figure out some different pieces that you can get. Let me find the last one. I got one more. There you go. This is my favorite. Here, let's put him in the shade so you can see him. Isn't that awesome? So you can do that. You can make those kind of echoes in there, and then you can fill them, and you can make little baby butterflies like that one. This is the smallest Curly Q, and this is the 3-inch Spinifex number 13. So just something simple like that. You can just put those in little different places. If you need a tiny little butterfly, you're just rotating. So you'll do the center one first, and then you'll do a top echo and a bottom echo. And from the center point, then you can put this curvature in and figure out where you want that to go. And these are just little arcs from the top of the curve, right? So that's my favorite, probably, of all the ones I did. And there you can see that's Curly Q 80.5 and Spinifex number 13 at 11.5. So I just encourage you to play. Have a lot of fun. You don't have to make everything super perfect, but you can play around and see what you can do, and what tools you have govern what choices that you can make. So it's not like you have to go out and buy everything I showed you today, but you know, if you have a few Spinifex, I think they make great butterfly wings, and they just will have some unique shapes. Or a back-to-back can be like a curve like this, and you can just make a triangle, you know, for the wing. So right here, here, and back in, and then use your curvy ruler to get out to your points. So feel free to play, have a good time. I'll be gone the next 2 weeks, and maybe the first week of May I can broadcast from the show. If I can, I'll try to do that. But keep sewing, keep playing, happy quilting, and have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.